Yo, it's your boy Evan back with the Keepin the G Real podcast. How's everyone doing? Happy New Year. It's 2020. I can't believe, man, time flies. I've been out of high school for a decade now. Shit's just super weird. At least I could say I was born before, the year 2000. It's just cool to kind of say I was a 90s baby. I was almost an 80s baby, but that's neither here nor there. I was born in 1990. But you already know what it is. The Keepin the G Real podcast. We're going to be doing a little breakdown of the NFL playoffs. But real quick, I might have told this story before on the podcast. I'm not sure if I did, but it's one of my favorite stories and one of my favorite experiences that I've had so far. And I know I'm going to be 30 next year, so 29 and some change years in my life. It's one of my favorite stories to tell. So little story time. I played all kinds of sports growing up. I played baseball and I wrestled, did all these other things. But I always had a huge love and passion for football. I remember watching the Super Bowls in the early 2000s with the Rams and the fastest show on turf and the Baltimore Ravens, and loved John Gruden and the Oakland Raiders, and then he went on to, coach the Bucks and all this stuff, and just loved all the characters, loved those guys, loved the aggression, and the NFL was so different when I first started watching it. Doesn't mean I still don't like it, but it was a different beast in the 90s into the early 2000s, back when the rules were different. But so I didn't play football though until I went to high school, and I was like, I wanted to go out and make new friends, and I was sick and tired of hanging out with all the loser kids in the streets, like skateboarding and all these other things and just doing dumb shit. And I was like, man, I could play football. I could crush people and hit people, and I don't fucking go to juvenile hall for it. Like, sign me up. So I eventually, a couple buddies were like, yo, come out, you'll definitely make the team and all this stuff. I mean, not that I think everyone made the team. I mean, you would always see kids like stragglers, like, we didn't have a big team, but if you didn't make the team, it wasn't because you didn't make it. Most kids just didn't play. So you'd always see the kids run around school that like tried out every single year and then didn't make it or whatever, but not knowing a lot about football, but never playing it. Like all my buddies played it early. I was like, fuck it, I'll go out and play. And one of the worst and most harsh experiences ever was my first football practice. And we had to do two-a-days because everyone knows we do two-a-days. The beginning of the season, you do two-a-days. It's you're there at 8 a.m., 9 a.m. in the morning, and you practice until like noon or whatever, and then you take a break, and then you practice again, and then it's just that first 2 to 3 weeks just blows, right? So I made it all the way through practice, and like halfway through practice, like by the second one, I was just like dying. Like, I'm like, dude, this fucking sucks, right? But I wanted to play so bad. And I was so exhausted by the end of practice that I was like, man, I don't know. What did I get myself into? I don't know if this is for me, blah, 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 blah. So the practice field was like 4 or 5 blocks away from the high school. And the deal was you always jogged back and forth, the whole team. Everyone gets in the line, you run. If you're caught slacking, coaches don't like it. Everyone lines up like it's no big deal, starts to jog back after practice. And I start to jog. I'm kind of towards the tail end of the pack. I start to jog. And next thing I know, I'm like, I feel a little weak. And I'm like, oh, and I start to just throw up in this yard where there's all these old ladies. They're just watching me. I'm just throwing up all over the place and all this stuff. I just felt like demoralized. I'm like, dude, I'm fucking done with this shit. But all of a sudden, I felt a hand on my back, and I was like, who the fuck is touching me, right? And I turn, and it's my guest Chad. My boy Chad asked me if I was okay. And he could have been like an asshole like a lot of the other guys and all this other stuff, but he was like being nice and kind to me. He didn't even know me. He was like, hey man, are you okay? Blah, 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 and all this other stuff. And I was like, dude, I don't even know. And in possibly getting himself disciplined, he waited with me, and then we walked back. And he's been one of my best friends ever since. Chad, how's it going, dude?
Oh, doing good.
How's everything?
Oh, great. Been a good new year. Bills are in the playoffs.
Yeah, Chad's a diehard Bills fan. He's over here. He's got his Bills hat. He's got his Bills hoodie. He's got the Budweiser flowing. He's primed. He's acting like the game's in the house.
Oh, I mean, with our defense and
Oh, here we go. He's already laying out.
With how the Texans defense have been playing lately, Josh Allen's bound to go off.
We're not even to the part where we make predictions. He's already going in. What about it this year makes you think this is a different Bills team? Because they've made the playoffs a couple times before and flopped recently.
Well, the first time they made it was because Andy Dalton somehow threw a ridiculous pass, and then Tyler Boyd broke tackles and made it down the line to actually get a touchdown with a couple seconds on the clock. So that Andy Dalton got us in that year. This year, I mean, there's a couple of games if we would have just if the offense would have been a little bit better, we could have. I mean, if we would have beat the Patriots in Week 16 and then actually played in Week 17, we could have had the division at that point. Because the Patriots lost to the Dolphins last game. And they were actually trying to get the top seed, or second seed anyways. So I think this year is just, the defense is a lot better. It's like championship caliber defense. It's number 2 behind the Patriots, which they've had a ridiculous year this year. And Josh Allen's he's definitely improved a lot this year. He's still slacking in some parts, but
I just think sometimes he's a little inconsistent. Like I see flashes of brilliance and greatness with him. Like he'll play so well, and then there's times where he just makes like Eli Manning style bonehead plays.
Yeah, he likes to try to win the game by himself without using his pieces.
Pieces?
And that's why he gets sacked out of.
You mean Cole Beasley?
And John Brown, and that's why he gets sacked out of field goal range and doesn't throw the ball away in time, and then when he does, it gets picked or he fumbles it, and he just needs to learn to not play hero ball at this point.
Dude, it's all about playing hero ball, bro. It's the only ball to play is hero ball, man. Come on now.
Well, he can.
That's the playoffs, bro.
Yeah,
it's ride or die, dude. Playoffs.
He can come out of his shell a little bit more, but he's been playing a lot better. He's still playing good, but just with less interceptions now. The first part of the year, he was getting killed, especially that Patriots game. He got 4 interceptions, and after that, he had 2 up until the next Patriots game. So he's made it a lot better himself, but it also made him. He's more worried about the picks at the time too. That's why the deep balls were not really going for him. He always overthrew the people.
Look at old walk it to him up here on the screen, Carson Wentz. That's a bad mofo right there. People say what they want, dude, but he has like no weapons and shit. He's out here slanging dick around, dude. He ain't playing games. Look at him. Good old walk it to him, as Shannon Sharp would say. But yeah, we're gonna talk about the latest news. We got some coaching stuff that's gone on, some coaching changes and things. Now that the season's dwindling down, we're in the playoffs now, so this is like that time of the year where everyone just starts getting fucking fired left and right. And so what I plan on doing is each week. So we're gonna do this podcast. The next week, I'm gonna do a recap and then a prediction for the next round. We're gonna go round by round. Hopefully, get one out each week throughout the duration of the playoffs. I'm trying to be more consistent on pumping them out and getting them out. What sucks is I don't have a lot of followers, so I have a feeling that like I'll get to like 50, 75, 100 episodes and still have like no followers. It's kind of like what's the point? But they say the average podcast only lasts roughly 9 to 13 episodes, and this will be the 33rd. 33 is a good number, dude. That's a solid number. You're episode 33. I've been wanting to have Chad on a while. Chad's straight up my ride or die homie, dude. In high school, always had each other's back, playing sports, all that stuff. Like straight up workout partners for like 2 years straight. And then even after we got out of high school, before we joined the military, dude, we were like inseparable. It's my ride or die homie, dude. On and off the court, on and off the field, man. And then when you went, you know what was crazy? So when you left for the military, I was so used to you not being around that I didn't know you were home for the longest time. Now that you're home, you know what I'm saying? You had been home for a while, and I didn't know. And then all of a sudden one day we started texting each other, and you're just like, "Oh yeah, this, that, blah blah. We can hang out." I'm like, "What do you mean we can hang out?" You're like, "Yeah, I live back in New York now." I was like, "What the fuck?" I'm like, "I thought you lived like in California."
I did that for a couple years after the military, but then it got too expensive.
Mm.
You have to have 2 people with decent jobs to have a house out there, or even a 2-bedroom apartment. I was paying $1,700 a month.
What?
For a 2-bedroom.
Yeah, put that on the military's tab, dude.
And that wasn't even the super nice area. It was just not the ghetto area.
You were in Compton, weren't you?
Oh, no.
You were in Inglewood, weren't you?
No, Chula Vista has its bad side, but it's not as bad as a couple areas down there.
But yeah, so we're gonna get into it. I think we're gonna start with like the coaching stuff. So I guess we'll talk about the Ron Rivera hiring. I think it's a great hire for that organization. Like, you're getting a quality coach. That's pretty sure Ron Rivera's been to a Super Bowl. Great guy, could coach both sides of the ball really well. Knows personnel. I think the reason why Ron Rivera went to the Redskins was because he knows he was going to have total control over the team. Hopefully, because we were been talking about this lately. I don't know how you feel. We had this conversation too. If I'm a coach, I'm not taking a job unless I have guarantees that I have some real control over my team. Like, I get it. They hire GMs to do personnel and all these other things. But I feel as though the coach should have a significant say over the talent that gets hired, because it's the coach's job to coach these guys up, devise a game plan, and put them out in the field to put them in position to succeed. Don't you think?
Well, yeah, you don't want your team to draft someone that you have no interest in, and then, I mean, you're not going to be against them, but you're not going to be exactly 100% for them, which is it's gonna hurt the player and the team at that point. I mean, there's been a lot of circumstances where some players are great and they're on a team, but the coach just doesn't fit their scheme, and they just don't get the recognition they're going to get, and then they go to another team and they blow up, and they're this massively good player, and it's like, how'd that team let it go? But
you know what I think about all the time? I think about one of my favorite head coaches of all time, Bill Parcells. Bill Parcells, when he coached, had like total control over personnel. Like, he constructed his teams. You should have heard the way he used to talk about wide receivers. Anton, my buddy Anton knows all these funny stories about Bill Parcells where a wide receiver like gave him advice or some shit on some play or something like that. He just turns to him and goes, "You're a wide receiver." He's like, "Go away," and all this stuff to him. Like, he hated wide receivers. He didn't think they were important and shit. Bill Parcells was a fucking man, but he won Super Bowls and shit. But no, Ron Rivera, I think if you were looking for the opportunity to have a lot of control, that's the spot to go to, because they're just petering right now. They need a full overhaul of all their players. Trent Williams doesn't even want to play for him anymore, or whatever. It's just like, do I think he'll succeed there? I don't think Haskins is the answer there. I think he's going to have to get a new quarterback. Dwayne Haskins has the arm talent, but I think Ron Rivera is going to want to overhaul that whole entire thing.
I don't know too much about Ron Rivera, but
he's a really good coach.
He's like I said, he's been a good coach for the Panthers for the years he was there.
Yeah, like 9 years or something.
So, I mean, Giants better watch out. I mean, Garrett's gone now. Now they got a new coach in the Redskins.
No, we're going to get to the Giants, but what I wanted to segue to there is the other job that Ron Rivera was supposedly in the runnings for was the Cowboys job, which, if you look at a team on paper, the Cowboys job is the best job as far as like what teams are available, what team has the best roster. It is the Cowboys roster out of the teams that are available. Problem is, do you want to go there and have to deal with fucking being under Jerry Jones? I did not know this. And I know a decent amount about football. I did not know Jerry Jones is the GM of his team as well.
Yep, there's no other. He's the head,
which is crazy. Most owners just kind of like sit back and let their GM and their coach handle everything. But he has his hands in so much shit. If I was him, I'd hire someone that knows personnel, a GM that knows personnel, or whatever coach he hires. Give him control. Like, to be fair though, I think a lot of the shit with Jerry is the bullshit that comes with like the media firestorms and stuff. If he's the one in charge of most of the player personnel, he built a damn good team. You know what I'm saying? But that's Ron Rivera. Everyone was linking Ron Rivera to the Cowboys, but I said no, he's not going to want to deal with Jerry. And that just shows you how much he doesn't want to deal with Jerry. Because if if Ron Rivera was an option for the Cowboys, him taking the Redskins just shows you that no one wants to deal with Jerry Jones' bullshit. Someone's obviously going to take the job because it's one of the best coaching gigs still. You know what I'm saying? Someone's going to take the job.
Yeah, as long as Amari Cooper stays there, you pretty much have 3 stars and a wide receiver star, a running back star, and then the quarterback. I mean, but it all depends what they're going to pay Dak Prescott now and if they're going to want to keep Amari Cooper around. I mean, obviously they'd want to, but it all depends on the money they're going to give him because what the Cowboys haven't done in a long time is give a running back a lot of money, and they did that this year to Elliott already. So
right,
it's going to be interesting who they put because they're going to have to drop a lot of money on Dak this year. I think they're kind of at the point where they're going to have to.
I don't know how I feel still about them paying him a fucking gag of money though.
They're not. He should have took the $35 million when he had the chance.
Yeah,
I think they can
dude,
drop him down to
me?
30 now. To be honest,
I think so. The negotiation, you can't. Here's the thing: how much is Pat Mahomes or Lamar Jackson or Deshaun Watson worth if Dak thinks he's worth $42 million?
Because
those 3 guys are better players than him.
Mahomes.
That's what I
50.
said. Nate disagrees with me. He's like, dude, there's a cap. I go, but the cap's going up.
It all depends.
I go, and that's the going rate now for these quarterbacks, dude. They're going to want more and more and more. Do you think they've gotten carried away with how they've let the structure for the contracts become?
Yeah,
like a lot of the other players from different positions are complaining about how they're trying to say that quarterback's not as important as any other position and they shouldn't get paid that much.
Well, definitely, but the quarterback is it's an important part of the offense.
It's the most important position in football, really.
But I think what they should start doing, which I'd be interested if they did, like in MLB where their contracts, they have a bigger cap space and all that stuff, but they also get less. It's more everything's 100% guaranteed there, pretty much. But if they did that for football, they'd be able to spend less money a year on players, but give it guaranteed in a contract, and that's what more contracts are going to nowadays as well. Is just more guaranteed money, which is what players want, but the organization hates it because if they're injured for a year, it kind of sucks. But it all depends on who's doing the deals, like the GMs and stuff like that. Like with the Bills with Croft,
right?
They can drop him this year and not really feel it because, I mean, with this contract, they said for every game he missed, it was $500,000 off. You know what I mean, or something like it was money off his contract. So it's hit or miss. But I definitely think they're going way over. Like I couldn't imagine $50 million a year for quarterback. When what's the cap space going to be at that point?
I don't know. I think it's getting an increase of so many $1 million.
They're going to have to.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, if they're going to have to. The problem is this, though. The problem is the salary. So what if you really wanted to sign a player to a crazy contract, you could just guarantee a more signing bonus money. The signing bonus I don't think there's a limit on your signing bonus. There's obviously a structure. You have to fit the salaries into a given total of salary cap. If you wanted to sign Pat Mahomes for some crazy money, you could be like, yo, let's give you 40 and then we'll just give you a bunch of money up front. The organization would just shell out of their pocket and give them a crazy bonus. And that's what I would do, dude. I'd be like, dude, I don't give a fuck if it's $30 million or $40 million. I'll take it either way. Just front load me a decent size signing bonus. Yo, that dude got the shit blocked out of him.
Honestly, the how the contracts are going up, it's pretty much just like a dick measuring competition. Oh, I got more money. Yeah. I got more money this year. It's so
annoying. And then you got dudes like Tom Brady that take pay cuts and shit.
Yeah, because that's why the Patriots stay so good. And Tom Brady doesn't have to worry about money anyways because his wife makes more than him.
True, but Tom's also super rich too. Don't make no mistake about it. Like that, it wouldn't have mattered. It wouldn't matter if he was single or had his wife. Like with endorsements and all these other things, he's made so much money. He's worth so much money. It doesn't matter. I'd be the same way, dude. If you tell me we're going to get these really great players and keep winning if you just take a fucking $8 million pay cut, fuck yeah. What's What's $30 million to $40 million? You make $30 million a year, dude. If you're not an idiot, you're set for the rest of your life. What does it matter? Do you want to win? The point of playing sports is competition. Ooh, he just got fucked up.
Yeah, and that's like Tom Brady's smart with what he goes. I want to bet. I want more pieces around me that are gonna help me win championships. And look at that, he almost has friggin' what? He has 6 now, 7. I don't know how many rings. He has 6, I think,
6.
right?
He's got 6, I think.
Friggin' going for the 10, one in each finger.
But yeah, so now I don't know. I do not know who Jerry Jones is going to end up hiring. You got like Colin Cowherd, who always gets all cutesy with his picks. He's always like these hotshot college guys. He keeps I think they should hire Lincoln Riley. And it's like, who the fuck is Lincoln Riley? If the Cowboys were smart, and speaking of that, I just texted Adam. I've been saying this ever since he retired. Or got let go from his old gig. Dude, Mike McCarthy is a phenomenal coach. And I think he would have won more Super Bowls if the Packers organization would have, picked some better personnel to put around Aaron Rodgers. Because even when they won the Super Bowl, in my opinion, that team wasn't that good. I just think he was that great that year. And obviously good coaching. Supposedly, he's getting interviewed pretty soon for the Giants. That's going to be really interesting, the NFC East, dude. You're going to have Ron Rivera. You're going to have, if they hire Mike McCarthy, which they should do. Mike McCarthy, phenomenal coach. Everyone needs to stop hiring these young, hotshot offensive coordinators. Hire a dude that's won a Super Bowl, knows how to coach both sides of the football, knows personnel. That's what you should do. Hire a fucking adult. Just because McVay is an outlier and he's like fucking 17, he's out here fucking going to the Super Bowl and shit. Like, if the Giants texted Adam, like, dude, the Giants might be signing McCarthy. I hope they do. That'd be big for them. He's a really high level coach. And then you have the Browns. They have a coaching vacancy. And then you got Jerry. They got a coaching vacancy. That division's about to get shooken up.
They've been talking. I guess there's been some like.
I think Mike McCarthy might go to the Browns though if they interview him.
There's been some.
Because they got talent.
There's been some chatter about them taking the Bills OC. The Browns.
Oh, the Bills offensive coordinator?
Yeah.
What's his name?
Shit, I can't even think off the top of my head.
You're supposed to know this, dude.
I know, because Brian Dable.
Bro.
Everyone hates Brian Dable.
Brian Dable.
They were blaming him all year. And, I mean, some of the play calls are definitely... I mean, it happens at every team. There's going to be some weird play calls that you're like, why'd they do that? But, I mean, he's been doing good this year. And just bringing the Bills up to a 10-16 playoff team when this is supposed to be a building year, technically, still. I mean, I think it's drawing attention with the vacancies of coaching at this point. And especially with the amount of, the pieces that the Browns have. That's why I've heard they have interest in him. Anyways.
Interesting. But yeah, so the coaching carousel is going on. You got dudes getting ready to retire. Tom's getting old. Phillip Rivers is probably going to be out.
Jerry Jones is going to be the new head coach of the Cowboys.
Yeah, what would you do, Jerry's on the sideline? We're going to run shallow cross, Y22 whip out here, in Los Angeles.
Be the first owner, GM, and head coach of the team.
Be like fucking Tree Rollins, bro. You know about Tree Rollins? Shout out to Anton, that Tree Rollins drip. But yeah, so there's a lot of players that are going to be retiring and things of that nature. There's a rumor swirling that a lot of the pundits think that Tom's going to leave because this is going to be the first year Tom's ever going to be a free agent. They think that there's a lot of steam picking up that Tom's going to test free agency. And there's the one dude who has a serious rumor that he thinks Tom's going to go play for the Los Angeles Chargers. Now, let's say he did go play for the Los Angeles Chargers. The team has a ton of talent on it. Like, he'll be going there. All they got to do is fix that offensive lineup. They got good running backs. They can catch the ball at the backfield. They have fucking Keenan Allen and all those other wide receivers. They got really good players on defense. What'd you do if Tom just went to the Los Angeles Chargers, dude? Fucking won a couple soupies out there.
Yeah, free up the AFC East real fast.
Yeah, I know.
But I don't see him going anywhere. I think he's still a good quarterback,
Sure.
his arm strength's definitely not what it used to be.
It is when he needs it to be, though.
I know. And,
Like, when he gets into shitty situations, dude, he can still put steam on the ball.
well, he can also just friggin' throw balls 5 feet in front of him and not get called for intentional grounding. So
I can feel it now. We're gonna get the hater troll Chad.
No, Tom Brady.
Hater troll Chad's gonna come out on this podcast.
Tom Brady's
Bills fan troll.
Tom Brady's a good quarterback, but I don't think
He's a great quarterback.
No, he is. I don't think he's gonna go.
He's the GOAT.
I think if he would have went anywhere besides the Patriots, he wouldn't have been the guy he was.
See, people say that. I disagree.
I think Bill Belichick has helped him massively.
I think they both helped each other.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think without
but you could say that about any good quarterback and any good coach.
But he definitely is a great quarterback. He's one of the best. That's why it's so frustrating having
all these guys out here. Tom Brady's a system quarterback. It's like, well, aren't most quarterbacks better in specific systems? Like, how many guys can run a shit ton of systems? Remember, if you're gonna run in order for you to run all the systems, you have to be able to run and shit too. So by that definition, all the pocket passers are system quarterbacks because they can only run so many systems because they can't run. I don't agree with all that shit. I mean, Peyton Manning was probably a system quarterback too then.
It was interesting seeing Tom Brady run the last time against the
Dude,
Bills.
listen, hey,
He took off towards the end zone.
I always tell everyone Tom's a triple threat quarterback, dude. He can run it, pass it, and block. Did you see him block last week or the other week? Dude, he took someone's knees out, dude. Tom don't play around. Listen, I used to not be the biggest fan of Tom Brady because I thought he was a turd, right?
His O-line helps him out too.
His O-line sucks this year.
Why? That's why he's not doing that great either.
Yeah, but you got to have a good O-line no matter who you are, really, unless you're Drew Brees, or Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers had some bad offensive lines, still tore people up. Drew's offensive lines have been inconsistent. Dude, I watched Tom juke Brian Urlacher out. I watched Tom run through 2 dudes on a 12-yard run into the end zone and come up screaming, going, let's fucking go, fucking yelling, dude. Tom's a fucking savage, dude. He's out there blocking last week. He wasn't playing games. Speaking of quarterbacks blocking, you ever see the play where they do some wide receiver verse play, the Packers back in the day, and Brett Favre sprints 60 yards down the field and takes a motherfucker out? Dude, I gotta find that. I don't know if it'll disrupt my stream if I play YouTube. But dude, there's a play you can find on the internet where somehow this makeshift play they run and it gets fucking kerfuddled and the dudes run outside and all of a sudden Brett Favre comes sprinting on the screen like you say Bolt. The guy's like, "Oh, Brett Favre's out front." He started blocking, dude. I was dying laughing. You got Cam Newton who's 6'6", 260 and won't block anybody.
The thing that sucks about Cam Newton is I just remember, I think they faced him in 2017 or maybe it was 2017, and Cam Newton, he does a thing where he loves how the quarterbacks are super protected now, so he'll run out towards the end, acting like he's about to go out, because you don't want to make contact after he makes that white line, because with any quarterback, if you push him, that's gonna be unnecessary roughness, and the people slowed up because he thought looks like he was getting to get out, and then he just tiptoed back in and kept going up the line. I was like, God.
Cam Newton needs to keep his mouth shut on the quarterback being protected shit, because this is a dude who's 6'6", 250 whatever, 260 pounds, runs a 4.5. He's made most of what makes Cam fucking a phenomenal football player is the fact that he can literally outrun dudes and run dudes over. I've watched him run linebackers over. And so for him to just play so physical when he decides he wants to play physical and then to bitch about quarterbacks getting hit, it's like, bro, a quarterback's a player just as much as anyone else. And you're usually one of the biggest dudes on the field, no matter who you're playing against. It's like you can't have your cake and eat it too. You ain't saying that shit when you're running the fucking other team's linebacker over. And then for a touchdown and doing Superman shit.
And then he gets upset when he gets in a concussion protocol. You know how many concussions he had before he had a concussion protocol going out there?
No.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, before they started getting really serious with it, I forgot what it was. He had, I forgot what the numbers were, but he had a decent amount of them, because he was one of the quarterbacks running a lot, you know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, you get hit in the head, you just get back up and you keep playing again unless you really can't get up. Then obviously they'll take you out for a little bit, but.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think the rules are fucking bullshit. Anyways, I seen something earlier today. Someone compiled all of the worst calls of the year, and it's like 20 minutes long of like just all the terrible no calls and bad calls that were made.
Yeah, it's definitely impressive. I mean, this year I think was one of the worst years for officiating.
Yeah, it might have been the worst. Dude, whatever happened back in the day when you could put your hands on wide receiver a little bit? They let you play a little, dude. It's like some NFL blitz shit out there back in the day. That's what makes Chad Johnson so great, dude. Chad Johnson played in the toughest defensive division of the 2010s and still tore it up when dudes could actually fucking bump and run you. Dudes could actually put your hands on you.
You have to wait for the ball to get into the guy's hands nowadays.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so playoffs are upon us, and I got the bracket up here, and I guess we'll go through the whole entire thing, and then at the end we'll go through team by team and talk about how they match up and things, and have our predictions on who we think's going to win, and then we'll look ahead to the future in case for whatever reason I do the next couple by myself. Get your opinion on who you think will actually win the Super Bowl. But we'll start on the NFC side. We'll start with the Seahawks and the Eagles. So for me, Skip, for me, I think this game's going to be closer than people think. I do like the Seahawks to win, but I think old Walker Tuam's going to come out and play even though their team's decimated with injuries. I like the Eagles' defense has been playing a little better. You know, they run the ball. They do stay balanced. Carson Wentz can play. He always comes to play in these intense games. I like his mobility, but I think the better quarterback is obviously Russell Wilson. I do think they have a better overall team. They got Beast Mode back, and I think it'll come down. I think it'll be a touchdown game, but I like the Seahawks. What do you think?
I think the Seahawks are going to win too. I think the big test is going to be with Wentz because he hasn't had a postseason game. I don't think it'll really rattle him any.
But he's played in big primetime games.
But I think it's going to be interesting because he hasn't played any postseason games yet. It's all been the backups coming up and Nick Foles somehow winning Super Bowls and shit.
That shit was crazy.
You know what I mean? Like the Philly special, just getting in the end zone, ridiculous. But I do think the Seahawks are going to win. And it's probably still going to be a close game because the Eagles are running hot right now. So maybe even like a field goal or something like that. It's going to come down to probably down to the fourth quarter where team has to go down and Seahawks just have to stop the Eagles before they tie it up or something like that.
Yeah, I think it'll be really close. But yeah, I think it's key. I think Carson Wentz is going to have just a crazy performance in order for them to win this game. Like, if he comes out and goes all straight, walking to him gangbusters, dude, they have a shot. Apparently the rookie running back is supposedly going to play, I keep hearing. But yeah, this game's going to come down to what quarterback makes plays more. But you know what's funny? Most of these games are going to come down to that. That's how it feels to me. A couple of these games have some really key wrinkles. But there's only one game where I really feel like I 100% know the outcome of. And that's the Saints versus the Vikings.
Well, Saints are going to win.
I know exactly what's going to happen in that game. Saints are going to bury the fucking Vikings. You want to know why? Because Kirk Cousins is going to fold like a fucking lawn chair, dude. He's never won a primetime game, let alone a playoff game. He's been to the playoffs, lost. He went there once, I think, with the Redskins, right?
Yeah, I just like the Saints this year. They're balling out. I
think the Saints could possibly win the whole fucking thing.
I mean, they got Kamara, and they got literally the most...
Michael Thomas.
They got Michael Thomas. Has the most receptions in NFL history.
With 150, right?
Yeah, 149.
Oh, he didn't get 150?
No, it was 149.
Fuck. I was hoping he'd break 150.
And then...
it's still the record before.
And then
he
has like 50. He has a 1,500 yards receiving or something crazy like that. Top yards receiving too.
Before that, Marvin Harrison had 143 catches.
So it's just like he's. I think it's. they're going to basically not get it handed to them.
I think they're gonna smash them.
I think
I think they're gonna smash them. I think they're gonna roll them.
they definitely could.
I think this is like the roll of the week. I think they fucking steamroll them. That defense hasn't been playing as good.
Yeah, it all
Their
depends.
cornerbacks haven't been playing that good, and Drew Brees is like.
All depends what defense comes. To be honest with that team, because they when they did show up, they showed up big, but they haven't been there the last.
The Vikings
so many
are
weeks.
going to have to get Dalvin Cook going early and often. Try to take it off some of the pressure of Kirk having to make a lot of throws. If their best chance is they obviously need to play some defense, but they're going to have to hopefully lean on Dalvin Cook hopefully and get that run established. If they can't get that run established, they're fucked. They're going to force Kirk Cousins to stay in the pocket and make throws the whole entire game. Odds are he'll flub it. What would you do if this is the one game where Kirk Cousins just decides to go straight swaggy on everyone and just take him out? Kirk throws like 600 yards. He's like, you like that? You like that?
That'd be interesting because I think wouldn't it be the Vikings versus Packers after that?
Yes. Well, no.
No, because Vikings are last seed, right? Or no, Eagles are. So yeah, it would be.
Yeah,
It all depends on the Eagles Seahawks game.
You know what sucks? When you look at what the Vikings can do overall, what they've done this season, the teams they beat, how well Kirk Cousins has played, he's played well. When you look at how good they actually can be, their potential, how good they can be, I really love this Vikings team. But Kirk Cousins always folds the tents up. He always packs the tents up in the big games, dude. That's what's going to, most likely. Like, if I was betting money, I'm betting it on the Saints. I mean, they're the favorites to win, probably.
Yeah, I don't even know what the cover is.
Yeah, I don't know what the cover is for it, but
And Saints are at home, so I'm guessing they're probably at least 5 points.
it's got to be like 4 or 5. But yeah, I don't know. I think that's 100% the lock. Swaggy is gonna fold. The Saints, they just have too much talent on both of the sides of the ball. So much speed. They got fucking Drew's a straight up assassin. I don't think the Vikings, unless they play really, really, really well, I don't think they got a sweet Papalopoulos. Got nothing for them. What do you think?
Yeah, the Vikings are definitely not going to make it in. They made it to the playoffs this year, which is to get in there is pretty impressive because there's a lot of high.
They're a good team.
Besides the Eagles, I mean, there's a lot of all the other teams are like 13-3.
Whatever, dude. There's a lot of shade.
You know what I mean?
There's a lot of shade coming at the Eagles, but old walking to them, we might come out there and just go gangbusters on everyone. Knock the Seahawks out in the first round.
It'd definitely be interesting. I'm just saying, besides the Eagles,
shout out to Darren and Mike, my boy Mike Economy.
Besides the Eagles, everyone else was. I mean, I don't even know what the Vikings record was, but
I definitely think the Eagles are the weakest team. If you ranked these teams from weakest to the strongest, in my opinion, it's the Eagles are the weakest. Then it's the Texans. Then it's the Titans. Then it's the Bills. Then it's the Vikings, Patriots, Seahawks, Packers, and Saints. That's what I think. But, and then, it's funny. I forgot the other two teams. Packers, then the Chiefs, then the Ravens and the Saints, in my opinion, are like tied. We're forgetting about the Ravens and the Chiefs got first round buys. What team? Okay, so we're gonna move to the next one, and that's the marquee game for somebody: the Bills and the Texans. Now the AFC matchups are way more intriguing to me. I am going to keep my eye on the Seahawks and the Eagles game. I think that's going to be more competitive than people think. But the AFC matchups are way more intriguing for me for a bunch of different reasons. So we'll start with your Bills and the Texans, and we'll talk a little more deeper about this one. This matchup's intriguing to me because this is a game where I don't know how I feel about this game.
there's a lot of strengths versus weaknesses.
There is a lot of strengths versus weaknesses. Like, you got such a great defense, but this year, Deshaun Watson has put up 30 and 40 bangers on good defenses. I would say, here's what I will say. Your team needs to try to establish the run against this team. Texans' pass defense is not bad, but their weakness is their run defense. Now they get J.J. Watt back, remember. He's supposedly fully healthy.
Yeah.
You got to try to establish the run. In order for you to get the dub, you're going to need to get Frank Gore and Devin Singletary going. That's how you're going to win. You got to set the tone early with that run game. You got to get those cats going. You got to get Uncle Frank chugging.
Definitely. And, I mean, after we get that going, attack that middle. Because I think they said it's like 86% catch percentage in the middle for them.
Oh, what? So
it's something crazy.
They give up 80%.
It's something
catches in the middle.
Something crazy like that, where Cole Beasley can eat all day if he wants, but then that can open up John Brown down deep if after a little bit of that too. And also, I think Dawson Knox would be good right in the center too.
I like Dawson Knox. He's my favorite player on your team. Dawson Knox at least once a game is doing some savage shit to somebody. Like when we went and watched the Bengals game, he ran some dude over on the sideline and stiff-armed another dude. That shit was so funny. Dude, we were fucking crunk at that Bills-Bengals game.
Oh,
I barely even remember the first half of that. Remember, I started to come out and being like wicked drunk, and you're like, I'm like, why is the game so close and all this stuff? And you're like, Joe Mixon scored. And I'm like, I don't remember him scoring and all this stuff. That shit was so funny.
He scored right in front of you, too.
I know. He scored right in front of us. I didn't remember. Dude, we drank so much. Yo, we went to... Chad and I and his father went to a Bills-Bengals game this year. And we got up there a little later than we wanted, so we get out and we immediately just start fucking cramming all our beer. And in such a short period of time, we got crunk before we even got into the building. We only had like an hour and a half, right, to get plastered.
Yeah.
And we just destroyed all the beers before we went in there. And then we got beer on the way in, those giant Molson Canadian things. They look like artillery shells.
Yeah,
Dude, we were crunk. Doing shots.
Yeah,
the old lady giving us shots.
Random old lady saying that, just sitting next to us going, oh, you want a shot? She just carried a flask and...
Dude, I wanted to smuggle... Okay, now that we went and I seen what the security's like, next time I'm 100% smuggling liquor in there.
Well, all you need is a flask that isn't metal.
Well, I had plastic flasks, but the last second I was like, I chickened out, and I was like, I'll just buy beer. I didn't know how thorough they check people. I hadn't been up there in a while.
Yeah, strap it in.
Strap it to my thigh.
And just pull
out. If they grab, I'll be like, it's the meat, bro. But no, dude, we had a fucking blast, didn't we? That was great. And then my sister's worried because we drank, and Sierra's like, Sierra tried to tell me I drove home drunk. And I'm like, Sierra, do you really think that if I thought I was drunk, I would drive 2 hours home from Buffalo? You tard ass.
So we waited.
We waited forever. Remember, we walked to the store, got food.
The traffic's horrible after the game. Around that area, everyone's going the same direction majority of the times.
And then we almost had to get to the scrap. That shit was funny. I thought your dad was going to have to fucking lay the smack down on somebody. That shit was great. And we show up and they're smashing the Bengals car, remember, with the sledgehammer? Dude, it was great. The atmosphere was great. I've been to Bills games before. In the past, a handful of them, and I seen there was more fans from the other team than I expected the first handful of times I went. Dude, this time we went, there was next to no Bengals fans. Now, granted, the Bengals fucking suck.
Home opener,
but I was one of the only Bengals fans there. It was ridiculous. I got a great photo. It's on my Facebook where I got my camera and I'm like this, and behind me it's just a sea of blue. There's no Bengals fans. It's just a sea of blue. I was like, damn, dude. But yeah, I think the Bills need to establish the run. The defense, you already know. Part of me thinks it might be a high-scoring game, but I think if I'm being totally objective here, I think it's going to be a low-scoring affair.
Whoever can get the run going is going to have the advantage.
And I would say this. I think you have run the ball decently this year, but I think both run games aren't that powerful. especially theirs. They have tons of injuries. They got Carlos Hyde, he can play. But yeah, I think whoever can establish a run is gonna have the best chance of winning this one.
I think they have like the 9th ranked running attack.
Do they? I didn't know it was that high.
And the Bills have like, I think it's probably 20 something or 18th or whatever.
I gotta check Carlos Hyde's stat.
Rushing defense. Carlos Hyde's over 1,000 yards.
That's what I thought.
So that's why this game's gonna be huge with like strengths versus weaknesses, because it's gonna be the Bills passing attack, which is like 24th or something like that,
is,
against the Texans 28th ranked, or they're really not that great at passing defense. And then they're worse when it gets down to the red zone. They're 32nd in red zone.
Right.
Once you get in 20, I forgot what percentage of the time you're going in the end zone.
Yeah,
70% or something like that.
It's something like that.
So if the Bills defense can actually, they need to start tackling better, because Bills are the worst in missed tackles.
Are they really? That sucks.
I
love your middle linebacker. He flies all over the place. Tremaine Edmonds.
Being a number 2 defense and having the worst tackling is miserable. And they're also like 5th in or I think they're 5th in the most drops too for wide receivers. So it's something stupid where it's like all they need to do is wrap up, and it's like they kind of bump when they go against I don't know.
So being fully transparent here, if this was any other day, if this was any other game, you already know I'd be rooting for your Bills. But the sad matter of the fact is, I have a bet on the Bills that makes it so I have to hope they lose. I feel bad about it. So I made a one-sided bet, which I never do. I made a one-sided bet because I did not think your Bills were going to be this good this year. And I bet a gentleman at work that I go, if the Bills win a playoff game, I go, I'll buy you a Josh Allen jersey. But I didn't make there was no bet coming back on my end. And lo and behold, you're fucking 10-6 and you're in the playoffs, brother. Here's the thing, though. Win or lose, though, if your coaching staff keeps making the right decisions, there's nowhere to go but up. Your quarterback's 23, 22. You got so many young players. You got a young defense.
I'm not sure if you know this stat. 20 out of the 22 starters are coming back next year.
Damn, dude. Chad's just dropping stat knowledge back here, dude.
And on top of that,
it's
I think it's a 20 out of the 25 impact players or something like that, or third something not there. There's maybe we're dropping 5 impact players too. That's counting special teams and crap like that. So, and that's not, who knows what's going to happen in the offseason, because we have $90 million in cap space too.
You have what?
$90 million in cap space.
You have $90 million in cap space.
Yeah.
How the fuck you get $90 million in cap space?
Yeah. How are you a playoff team and have $90 million in cap space?
Dude, that's fucking crazy. I've never even heard of someone having $98 million in cap space. I think the Jets had a lot of cap space recently, but they spent a shit ton of it on 2 players.
The one player
Le'Veon
was
Bell
worth
signing is so stupid.
Le'Veon Bell wasn't worth it, but
CJ Mosley
was a beast.
Yeah, he's a monster.
When he's in,
he's
and
got
not
to stay
injured,
healthy. Yeah,
he's a game wrecker at that point.
Yeah. Like I said, and I don't care what anyone says. Are there way better running backs than other running backs? Yes. But dude, the Saints have never had a high-level quarter or running back, and they've run the ball on teams all the time. Remember when the Saints, in the early years, the Saints just had Deuce Staley, Pierre Thomas, and all these other crack running backs, and they were just running the ball. Everyone fucking Pierre Thomas come out of woodwork, just running dudes over. If you have a good committee of running backs, you know how to use them, you're going to run on dudes. Look at the Giants. The Giants had a really good committee. The years they were really good, when they won the Super Bowls, they had a committee of running backs. Now, Adam will sit there and Adam will try to say that Brendan Jacobs was this fucking crazy good running back. He was good for what he was, running dudes over and shit, but they had a committee of running backs. You had Brendan Jacobs, one of the best power backs of all time. You had, who's the one dude on the team? You had the guy that could do a little bit of everything, Ahmad Bradshaw, and they had that other kid that could catch balls out of the backfield. That's how I would do it. Unless you can get your hands on a gadget back, Obviously, if you can get your hands on a gadget back like a Kamara, a McCaffrey, or Saquon Barkley, a Dalvin Cook, a guy that can do absolutely everything and stay healthy, then sure. But it's not a 100% necessity. In my opinion, you should only draft running backs high if you have all your needs met and you're like, okay, now it's time to get this running back, put us over the top, and just run on dudes. I mean, look at the Giants. Giants have so many fucking holes on their team. They only win 5 games. They don't even they won 3 games this year. They didn't have Saquon Barkley, but the first year, remember the first year they had Saquon Barkley? You can make an argument he's the best running back in the league his rookie year, right?
Yep.
They only won 5 games.
And he was going there. I think he had so many yards, too, because they were always behind in games.
And look at the Cowboys. The Cowboys will only be good as good as Dak Prescott is. That team's talented. Zeke rushes for over fucking 1,400 yards every single year, and they still only win 8 to 10 games. Remember Adrian Peterson with the Vikings? I could talk about this till I'm blue in the face. Adrian Peterson with the Vikings, he's one of the greatest running backs of all time. But they couldn't get a good quarterback, couldn't get pieces around him, and they would only win 8 to 10 games every single year. Dude, I don't even know how many games they won. I don't even know if they did make the playoffs and they flopped out. The year he rushed for 2,000 yards. At some point, you need quarterback to make plays. It's just the truth, and I don't care what anyone says.
And I would say it all depends on the defensive side of that team too. If you have a strong defense and a strong run game, I mean, there's a lot of Super Bowl teams I've had. You come with a solid defense, like obviously a championship level defense, where it's not letting up too much points and not giving too many yards, and then you have a stout run attack that you can take a lot of time off the clock and still get yards and get down into field goal position at least. You're gonna win a lot of games.
Right, true.
But
what I'm saying is
it's hard to have both of those.
You could do that without having like a crazy running back.
Yeah. It's more, I think it's more on the persistence of the run game and then the actual offensive line.
Patriots have never had good running backs. They do it all the time.
What are you talking about? What are you about that amazing LeBlanc, you know?
Garrett Blunt. But yeah, so here's what I will say. And you're my guy. You're my ride or die homie. But I have to be honest about my analysis of this game. I have a sinking feeling that Deshaun Watson, even though he has games where he's just like whatever, and then I think since it's a home game, J.J. Watt's back. I think that'll be a factor. I have a sinking feeling Deshaun Watson's going to go off in this game. It's going to put you in a tough spot. And it's going to force Josh Allen to have to be the guy. So it's going to depend on, can Josh Allen make big plays in crunch time? Personally, if I was betting money, I would probably bet on the Texans at home. But
Texans are given 3 points too.
Are they really?
To the Bills. Mm-hmm. I think it's going to be a close game, and it's realistically going to come down to how much pressure the Bills can get on Deshaun Watson when he's back there.
Remember, both quarterbacks can run.
He can run.
Both quarterbacks can run.
But, I mean, I think, and the Texans are horrible against mobile quarterbacks. Horrible. I think they're like 25th against them or something like that, or 23rd against mobile quarterbacks.
So you got the Seahawks, you got the Saints. We both agree on that.
Yep.
Obviously, you got the Bills.
I mean,
I'll take the Texans at home. This matchup is the most intriguing matchup, and I'm probably going to go on a rant here.
Because Tennessee's going to win. Who do
you like out of Tennessee and the Patriots? Really, honestly. Well, how do you think that shit's going to go down?
I don't like the Patriots. But,
I know, but be objective.
But I'm saying being objective, their defense is good, but it has been, I think, with that Dolphins game, they showed how to kind of go to take advantage of that defense in a certain way.
I mean, didn't even watch it. You watched it, right?
Yeah. Belichick is a great coach, so he's probably going to fix the holes that happened, but you only can do so much in a week. And it all depends obviously the Tennessee watched it a lot, their coaches and stuff, but it's hard to replicate what other teams do. It all depends. But I honestly think Tennessee's going to have a good chance to win it, and I think it's going to come down to like the last couple minutes of the fourth quarter where Tom Brady's going to have to come down and score or something. Because their offense has been horrible this year. They don't have any good weapons. Edelman's still banged up. I think it's really... I would say it's a 3-point game where Tennessee can pull it out because the running game's good. Henry's a good running back. And Tannehill's been playing on fire lately.
Who, Tana Legend?
Yeah.
That's what we've been calling him at work, Tana Legend.
Straight out of Miami, doing nothing.
Yeah, dude, I've been walking around at work because Andy J's a massive Titans fan. Shout out to Andy J. I've been walking around work randomly with people around. I'm going, go Titans. And he's like, that's damn straight. He starts going, amen, and all this stuff, dude. It's hilarious.
It's going to be an interesting game. I think it's going to be really close.
I agree it's going to be really close. Here's my issue with this game. I'm surrounded by all these mongoloids and idiots at like my job and shit. All these kids come in and they act like they don't know who's on the other side of the field, man.
No, Brady's there.
They act like they don't know how much of a thug Tom Brady is, dude. I'm so tired of it. How anyone thinks is just this, it's just this foregone conclusion that the Titans are going to come out and beat the Patriots. If you really think it's that set in stone, then you're fucking high for the people out there, dude. Listen, I'm taking the Patriots 17-14.
Well, it's going to be really, yeah.
Taking the Patriots 17-14. Tom's going to come down. He's going to put the icing on that shit. He's going to roll out, run a couple dudes over, stiff arm someone, run for a touchdown.
Get a touchdown in the last minute and a half?
Yeah, dude. Here's the thing. People could say what they want about that, about the defense played bad against the Giants, or not the Giants, the Dolphins. But the offense is struggling so much that the defense has to stay on the field all the time. I think they're going to get up and get ready in this playoff game. Here's what I will say. Patriots are not going to the Super Bowl.
Oh, they're going to kick off. If they make it past this round, they're getting kicked off.
They can't beat the Ravens or the Chiefs. So I do think that this game's going to be close. I think this game has the potential to be the closest game because I know the Titans are on fire right now, but I do think that defense is going to come out. They're gonna put 9. They're gonna put 8 in the box. They're gonna try to shut down Derrick Henry, and they're gonna force you to throw the ball. And remember, Tannehill's got to throw the ball against one of the best pass defenses in the league.
Best, I think
it is the best, isn't it?
It is, and it kills me because freaking the Bills didn't retain Gilmore, which is
I know that's crazy. Man, you could have Tre'Davious White and Stephon Gilmore.
I know,
together.
but with the scheme that was going at that time, Gilmore was not the guy.
Gilmore.
Because we weren't doing a lot of man. There was a lot of man coverage, but when it wasn't man coverage, he wasn't doing great. I don't know.
Tre'Davious White is criminally underrated.
Oh, he is. I'm glad he finally made a Pro Bowl this year.
I had to make him a 90 on Madden out of respect.
But and the safety's really good. They got too. I think he has.
Which one?
Shit.
Patrick Chung.
Yeah, maybe 33 or something like that, or I don't know. All I know is they have a really good. They had a really good safety this year too, where he had 2 picks on Josh Allen the first game. It was disgusting, but
yeah, I think that game's gonna be a close game, but I think like as Andy J would say, the disrespect. These people act like Tom ain't gonna fucking come out there and just fucking get ready and slang dick all over the place, dude. That shit drives me nuts. That offense hasn't been playing well. But you know Tom's gonna fucking come correct. He's gonna bring that. He's gonna bring that energy.
If they can bring the run game, then they're gonna be able to take time off, give their defense some rest, and that's all they need is long drives. If you give Tom Brady long drives, he's gonna win the game because he's at least gonna get him in field goal range at that point.
I'm trying to find a better. Let's see what NFL.com has for the predictions. It says wild card round. Bills versus Texans. It says this is the easiest pick. Oh shit. It says, these guys. It goes This is the easiest pick of the wild card weekend, in my opinion. The Texans had another great year and won another division title under Bill O'Brien, but they're not the most inspiring team out there. The problem is with Deshaun Watson, DeAndre Hopkins, and Will Fuller, the Texans love to run Carlos Hyde and Duke Johnson. I forgot they got Duke Johnson. He could play. This should be a wide open offense, but instead they tend to try and be conservative. I believe that plays directly into the Bills' hands. You could beat Buffalo on the ground, but I'm not sure Houston has the juice up front to do it. Running the ball, giving up points, and getting behind. Then having to throw against the Bills' secondary? Question mark. That's a recipe for disaster. Projected scoreline: Bills 24, Texans 17. Ooh.
The media's always going to go against the Bills, though. They've improved
they're picking
themselves.
the Bills.
They did?
Yeah, Bills 24, Texans 17. They think that the defense is going to hold against the run and force Deshaun Watson to pass it. The Titans and the Patriots. It says the Titans are going to be a trendy underdog for the wild card weekend. Oh wow, why are these scores so high? Wild card weekend after hammering the Texans backups and everyone seeing the Patriots gag away first round bye thanks to a home loss to the Dolphins. No thanks. I'll be on the Patriots here because they are the Patriots. I don't worry a little bit about the Titans' ability to run the ball and the physical nature, but we're talking about Ryan Tannehill going into Gillette Stadium in a prime-time game against Tom fucking Brady. As much as I like the Titans, I'm not there yet with this Tennessee team, especially if everyone's picking them to win. Projected score: Patriots 31, Titans 21. I'm interested to see what they say about this game. Well, why are the scores so high? The worst possible scenario for the Vikings broke out, with the Saints landing the number 3 seed. Minnesota heading into New Orleans is in a tough place to play. No one is hotter than Drew Brees right now. Alvin Kamara looks healthy, and we haven't seen the Vikings look good in the past few weeks. I would assume everyone will be back and the Saints to win and cover. I think Minnesota will keep it close in a shootout. Mike Zimmer is a very good coach, and it's a 1 p.m. game, so that's good for Kirk Cousins, question mark. If Adam Thielen and Dalvin Cook are both ready to roll for this game, I believe the Vikings keep it close in a shootout, but ultimately come up short. See, I don't like the high score. I don't think the Vikings are going to hang up as many points. I think Kirk Cousins is going to fold it in.
Yeah, 35-31.
That's a crazy score.
I think they're just...
You could just tack off.
Holy shit. 8 Saints, they're given 8 points.
Yeah. That's crazy. But that's I think they should.
That's realistic.
Yeah, I think they should. This dude scored 35-30. Who's writing this column? Seahawks versus Eagles. See, I knew this game was going to be close. They're only given minus 1.5. Two bruised and battered fighters getting in the ring for this one. The Seahawks are missing tons of players, and the Eagles are frankly missing even more. If you knew every single person catching passes from Carson Wentz on Sunday, you're either the biggest Eagles fan in the world or more likely a big fat liar. I don't know how this is going to go, but I wouldn't bet against either one of these teams pulling off something crazy. The Seahawks have the better quarterback with playoff experience. So for now, I'll take them. Here's one thing I would worry about. The Seahawks love to run the ball and are stubborn about it until they get in a pinch. The Eagles are good against the run, and can destroy them through you can destroy them through the air. Will Brian Schottenheimer be smart enough to adjust? For now, I'll say yes. Seahawks 21, Eagles 17.
So, side note. What kind of bullshit happened that the NFC games are on one day and the AFC games are on the other day? I've never seen it like that.
They should split it up? Do they normally split it up?
Yeah, there's usually one side, or unless they're just trying to give the Patriots the 8:00 game, because Sunday games are 1 and 4:30. Yeah. Saturday games are 4:30 and 8:30. So maybe that's it.
Yeah, I don't know. That's interesting. So let's say this goes down the way this guy says it goes down. So then they go to the divisional round. Say the Seahawks play the 49ers. Who do you like out Seahawks the 49ers?
That's interesting because the first time they met, it was dirty close.
Yeah, dirty close.
So Seahawks 49ers. 49ers
haven't been looking as good as everyone
and
thinks.
And they're given 49ers are given 7.5 points. I know they're at home, but Jesus. And they had a rest. So and the Seahawks it all depends who comes back, because they said they're pretty damaged, they're pretty beat up over there in Seahawks, so
This guy writes, the third time is a charm. The Seahawks advance only to get a rubber match against the 49ers in San Francisco with Russell Wilson and company, won on Monday Night Football in a crazy game early in the season. The line is really high, but the 49ers were just minus 3.5 at Seattle and managed to cover, although they probably shouldn't have lost. Oh, they probably should have lost. I wouldn't want to fade Wilson getting more than a touchdown in a spot like this, but I also wouldn't want to get in the way of the 49ers having just played Seattle and having just gotten to rest while the Seahawks traveled across the country for a physical brawl against Philly. The 49ers with 2 weeks to prep and get healthy have a massive advantage here. Projected score, 49ers 28, Seahawks 24. Ooh.
I think the 49ers are going to... Just because their defense has been ridiculous, I think the 49ers got it.
So for the Bills and the Ravens, it says another rematch. The Ravens having won and covered in the first game in Buffalo, also an extra week for the Ravens to prepare for the Bills and their defense, and for Baltimore to get healthy after sitting everyone in Week 17. No one has been hotter than the Ravens, but I don't think the time off necessarily hurts their offense. It's not a rhythm passing situation where Lamar Jackson just goes nuclear. It's a situation where they can rest up and prep to smash the ball down the Bills' throats and invent creative new offensive schemes. The Ravens with a bye are very dangerous. Projected score, Ravens 35, Bills 17.
If the Bills can't stop the run, that's what's going to happen at that point. See, it all depends. I think with them having an extra week and knowing that they're going to prepare for both. I guess that definitely gives them the advantage, and it's going to be at home for them this time. But I think it'd be closer than that game. I think the Bills' defense, if it got that far, is going to be able to hold the Ravens a lot better than 35 points. I mean, it was a 10-17 game last time, and Josh Allen was going down the field, and they just couldn't make it in on the last drive. So, I mean, being that close the first time, I don't see how they see it going 35-17 second time.
So this next one is Patriots and Chiefs. It says rematch number 3 with an exclamation point. The Patriots will be heading back to the scene of the last season's AFC Championship game, and how the game is against the Titans played out might dictate what happens in this matchup. If the Patriots are in for a dogfight with Tennessee and get beat up by Derrick Henry, they could limp into Kansas City. Juan Thornhill's injury is a major concern. But the secondary for the Chiefs is really playing well down the stretch. I think they're a legit dangerous defense, and I don't think the Patriots will be able to throw on them. The Chiefs are substantially better team. So, yeah, Adam disagrees with me, dude. He acts like Tyrann Mathieu's not a great player. Tyrann Mathieu's so good. And he's part of the reason why this Chiefs defense is playing so well down the stretch. Projected score, Chiefs 27, Patriots 21. I think that's about right. I think the Chiefs can hang up more points than that, but...
I think they're definitely going to win. If it comes down to them and the Patriots. Even them and Tennessee, Chiefs are going to win.
So, Saints versus Packers. Says what is that? Oh, well, what's the line? There's no line? Is it even?
Must be, or at least you forgot it.
So struggled with this line because I think people will be all over the Saints if they're not favored, or maybe even up to -3. However, I'm not sure the Saints would be -9 at home, so I think it would open at a pick'em before moving into New Orleans' direction. The Saints are 5-1 to win the title, where the Packers are 12-1. That's remarkable disparity considering one team has to play 3 games and the other is getting a bye. Projected score, Saints 17, Packers 10.
That's interesting.
That is interesting. I think that's going to be a great game. If this bracket goes the way this goes, I think that'd be a crazy game. Fucking 2 of the best gunslingers ever to do it. And then, but I really, truly, this is going to be for sure the championship round for the AFC. The 49ers could not be here. Saints, I think, will be in the championship game. I think the 49ers are the team that could potentially not be in. But Ravens versus Chiefs. This gentleman writes, if this matchup doesn't happen, people will be legitimately upset. This is the best possible AFC championship game, a preview of battles that could take place for years to come between Pat Mahomes and Lamar Jackson. We should sign up for this matchup every year for the next decade plus. decade plus as football fans. I will certainly sign up for it now. The Chiefs actually beat the Ravens earlier this season. People forget that. I think they beat the Ravens again. They have a better passing attack and have morphed into a consistent defense. I'm a little worried about injuries to the secondary. Juan Thorhill is a big one. And you could see the Ravens running downhill all day on this team. But I think the Chiefs have enough to hold them off and win this game. Chiefs 24, Ravens 21. I agree with that, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, they beat them once, and I think it'd be a little bit more high scoring than that, only because the first throw up was pretty ridiculous in points and touchdowns and stuff. Who knows?
Ooh, this dude. So it says Saints versus 49ers. Barely avoided the bracket that was loaded with chalk, thanks to the Saints being the number 3 seed in the NFC. I think they're the better team than Green Bay, so they can certainly advance without home field advantage. This would be an epic matchup between harkening back to the 2011 divisional round shootout with Alex Smith in the Alex Smith days. I don't know exactly how comfortable I would be feel fading Kyle Shanahan at home, but the way Drew Brees and company have been playing, I think the Saints are going to make a deep run. Saints 24, 49ers 21. I think that's true too.
Yeah,
I would love to see Drew Brees get another Super Bowl.
I think Saints are going to go to the Super Bowl.
And then Super Bowl. What would this be? 50 what? 54? 59? What is it?
No, it's not 59.
What Super Bowl is it? These fucking Roman numerals are crazy, bro. It's 50 something.
54.
Yeah, I think it's 54. Super Bowl 54. Okay, so they have the Chiefs -3 against the Saints in the Super Bowl. It says an epic matchup between two great offenses. Hopefully the weather in Miami cooperates. Who cares? Play in the rain, baby. With the Saints returning to the scene of the crime. 10 years since they won their only Super Bowl. Unfortunately for Breeze and Sean Payton, it's time for Andy Reid to win his first. The often maligned time manager comes through with a title. Thanks to Pat Mahomes and a solid defensive performance from the Chiefs as Kansas City brings home the championship. Chiefs 31, Saints 28. That's what I said. I think Kansas City's got a shot.
No, they definitely do.
But I think this guy's pretty accurate in his picks on the Chiefs and the Saints going to the Super Bowl.
I think that'd be a fun Super Bowl to watch too.
Oh yeah, for sure. Pat Mahomes will be out there waddling around, just doing no-look touchdown passes and shit, dude. But, dude, it'd be cool to see Drew Brees win another Super Bowl, solidifying his top 5 quarterback all-time status. What you think?
Well, definitely. I mean, the chances he had of getting it, it's just incredible he hasn't had more than what he's got.
That team, they've not had the best talent around him at times. That's why they haven't won more. You know, it's hard. It's hard when you're in a salary cap. It's hard when you're in a salary cap league to keep these teams constructed. And that's another reason why I tell people all the time, quarterback is so important from a logistical standpoint. Because you can lock a high-level quarterback down for 10 years at a time through contracts. I mean, look at all the great defenses that have ever existed. You got to keep 11 dudes under contract. That's hard in the salary cap league. Remember the Legion of Boom was great for 3 or 4 years, but then everyone started going their separate ways because they all wanted to get paid.
Yep.
That's what happens with the high level defenses. It's hard. You know, it's hard with the. But that's just a testament to how great the Patriots are because dudes take pay cuts on the Patriots to keep dudes on the team. Like, I'm really interested to see what Tom does at the end of the year. I think it'd be fucking gangster if he went to another team. It's funny they're talking about the LA Chargers. That would be a perfect place to go.
Oh, it would.
They would just have to get that offensive line in check, and they'd be going to the playoffs. And I love Phillip Rivers and shit, but Phillip Rivers needs to hang it up. He got too many kids, man. Phillip Rivers got like 9 fucking children, dude. It's fucking hilarious.
He has been looking good.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. The problem is, the reason why Phillip Rivers isn't looking that good is when you're a quarterback, you're a pocket passer. You don't need to really rely on speed all that much. Phillip Rivers has always had an average throwing arm as far as velocity and power. And here's the thing. If you have an average arm in your 20s, dude, your arm's going to be shit when you're in your late 30s. And that's his problem. There's no steam coming off that ball anymore, man. He can't hoof it. That's why his performance is going down. He's still super accurate. He just can't get the ball there. I love Phillip Rivers, man. Phillip Rivers is a G. Let's see what other news we got. So do you like that? Do you think the Saints and the Chiefs will make it all the way? Or do you like the Ravens? Who do you like? You like someone else to go all the way? Do you like the Bills?
That'd be nice. I think if the Bills made it to the game against the Ravens, and then beat the Ravens, that would legitimately give them a chance.
So you think the hardest matchup for you would be Baltimore, not the Chiefs?
I think Baltimore, only because the defense of Baltimore
Right.
is for the last time they played. Even though the last time they played, they were just wrecking the offensive line. It was still a 10-17 game. You know what I mean? It wasn't like it was a blowout or anything. It was they got good field coverage, field position on a couple drives, and got a touchdown that was like a flip pass to the freaking tight end in the end zone. Because Lamar Jackson's just ridiculous like that. But
Yo, you want to hear something wicked fucking crazy? Listen to this. New York. Christian McCaffrey's versatility and superb statistics helped him to a rare double. The Carolina Panthers running back has made the Associated NFL's all-pro team at 2 positions. McCaffrey, listen to this. Christian McCaffrey rushed for 1,387 yards and 15 touchdowns, and he caught 116 passes for 1,005 yards.
he did 1,000.
Yeah, and these only 3 players have done it. And 4 touchdowns a season. He becomes the 3rd player in NFL history with at least 1,000 rushing yards, I think. Yeah, Marshall Falk. No, there's another one. That's a lie. They fucked this article up. Terrell Davis did it too. He becomes the 3rd player in NFL history to finish with 1,000 yards rushing and 15,000 yards receiving in the same season, joining Hall of Famer Marshall Falk and Roger Craig. Yeah, this dude needs to up his skills because Terrell Davis. Pretty sure Terrell Davis did it too.
That's impressive, though. I didn't know he hit 1,000. I knew he was close.
Oh, I guess not. I always thought Terrell Davis did it too. But no, Terrell Davis rushed for 2,000 yards. I think Terrell Davis is kind of overrated. He only had like 2 really good seasons.
That's insane. What did he get? Like, what positions did he get? Like, if running back,
Terrell Davis? Oh, so it's
running back and like tight end or something?
I thought Terrell Davis caught 1,000, win 1,000 and 1,000. He got McCaffrey selected first team running back and the first team flex player.
Oh, flex. Okay.
By 50 Nationwide, whatever. But yeah, dude, that's what I'm saying. Look how good he was at running back. They won 5 games. So it does not matter how good your running back plays, you could still win 5 games.
Where do you think Cam Newton's going this year?
I think he stays. I mean, he's got 1 more year left on his contract. He could still win you football games. If there's no better options, why he's only making 20 a game. It's not a big cap hit. He only makes 20 a season.
Yeah.
You know? I think he'll stay 1 more year, and then he'll test the free agency market. Where does he go? There's teams that have really good personnel. Like, they've talked about him possibly going to Chicago. I think that's a good fit because he fits into that scheme, Matt Nagy's scheme and all that shit. But yeah, I don't. All I know is Christian McCaffrey's on some serious performance-enhancing supplements, dude. He's fucking yoked now. He came in the league.
Wait until he gets his 4-week suspension?
Yeah, right? He just gets fucking... Dude, he's fucking yoked.
What do you think about Mariota?
What about him?
Think he's getting signed anywhere this offseason?
I'm sure somebody get him shot. I mean, he's like a solid football player, but he's just... the proof is in the pudding. We've seen so much of Mariota now that I don't think we need to see much more of him. I mean, look at Tannehill came in and just started to tear it up.
Even Peterman got a job over in Oakland.
Peterman!
Who knows what they're going to do over there?
Dude, what you know about J.P. Lawsman, bro?
What do you think's going to happen? Because do you think Oakland's going to keep...
Derek Carr?
Derek Carr. Isn't this year's last year?
Yeah, Derek Carr's only 26. He played well this year. I don't know. I mean, it just depends on what Ron Gruden wants to do. So, to be honest with you, I'm not going to question anything John Gruden does because that team almost made the playoffs this year, and he made a lot of weird moves where everyone was like, "Oh, I don't like this move. I don't like that move." Weird moves, but it paid off. Like he's built a solid foundation. They won a bunch of games this year. So I mean, if he trades Derek Carr or something, I mean, I'm not. What are you laughing at?
No, I'm laughing because I was thinking of like the moves they made. I was like,
Oh, trading Khalil Mack.
no, that once they traded Khalil Mack, that I've talked because when I was in California, I had someone who was an Oakland Raider fan, and he was like, "What?" I told him, he goes, I go, once they traded Khalil Mack, their shit went downhill. Like that's when Oakland started losing their shit. Like then they traded Amari Cooper away and all the other stuff. And what was the other wide receiver they had that was good that year? They had two. It was Amari and
Michael Crabtree.
Once they did Crabtree and them all gone, it kind of they literally screwed themselves over.
Yo, you want to hear something fucking crazy? I talk about this every time we read Michael Crabtree up because I find it fascinating. Have you ever seen Michael Crabtree's college stats?
No.
So, when I first started like being interested in like analyzing college players, right, was around the time Michael Crabtree, because like I'm good at like analyzing the college kids and what kids are going to be good. Like,
Yeah.
I usually guess them. Like I called Pat Mahomes, all these other players, Cooper Kupp, like just so many players. One of the only big whiffs I had was Michael Crabtree, right? Because he was so frigging good in college, you have no idea how good he was in college. Let me see. Let me find his college stats. It'll blow your mind. And for him to just be an average to okay, he's a good wide receiver in the NFL. He wasn't high level or anything. He had a couple really good years. But listen to these college stats. So he played for Texas Tech, right, in the Big 12. Freshman year. His freshman year, right? 134 catches for 1,962 yards and 22 touchdowns.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, that's crazy. So his second year, they had to play better competition because I was following him because I really liked him. And he had 97 catches, 1,200 yards, and 19 TDs. 19 TDs. So he gets 22 TDs and then 19 TDs. Like, I thought he was a monster. I'm like, yo, Michael Crabtree is fucking legit. He had a crazy-ass play his sophomore year. In crunch time, you can find it on the internet. It's one of, like, they consider it one of, like, the top 25 college plays of all time, where the time expires as the ball's coming through the air. They're, like, driving into the red zone. He catches the ball on the sideline, stays in bounds. The dude's trying to push him out or pull him out of bounds, but he's strong enough, and the dude's trying to pull him out of bounds. He's keeping the ball on this side of him, and he's going like this, and he tiptoes as the dude's pulling him, but the dude can't pull him out. He just tiptoes through being pulled and goes all the way in the end zone for the go-ahead score to win the game. Dude, Crabtree was a monster in college, but I thought he was going to come out and just run roughshod. I'm like, if he goes to the right team, dude, he's going to be the next guy at wide receiver, but he ended up just being a good wide receiver, not an elite one.
I think what the funniest thing that happened this year was the Antonio Brown burnout.
Oh, God, dude.
The crash and burn of the best. I still think he had the skills to be the best one of the best wide receivers, but his attitude was just so shit.
He's one of the best wide receivers to ever play.
I know the attitude is so shit with him that he just ruined his whole career.
He's fucking crazy, bro.
He's like, I'm God. I can do anything with the football field. Well, guess what? You can't do anything off the field.
I think at this point, every day he proves yet and yet again that he doesn't even want to play football, dude.
If he really wanted to play, he'd clean his act up a little bit.
Shit, dude. He's just out there running amok. Just like, you see the video where he's like talking shit to the cops?
No.
Like, it's like, dude, do you want to get shot? Like, you're fucking crazy, bro. But yeah, dude, I think he's fucking Dunsky, dude. I don't think he plays again unless supposedly he got to work out with the Saints or whatever. They tried to say the Saints are just pulling a publicity stunt and all this other shit. But personally, unless he goes to some shit ass team like, I don't know, like Jacksonville or something like that, like I don't see him playing unless he can behave. Like, he's had some allegations towards him that we haven't like gotten to the bottom of. Figured like, but say he's
that trainer, yeah.
Yeah, say he's innocent of all that bullshit. All he has to do is just act like a normal human being, and he'll get on a team.
Yeah.
But one day he's acting like he's a saint and wants to be in the league, and then the next day he's talking shit about people and stuff. It's like, dude, you're not going to get into the league if that's how you're going to act. Sorry.
Definitely definitely made it interesting. He was the only person to have 3 jerseys on clearance.
3 jerseys on clearance?
because he had the Steelers, and then he had Oakland, and he had Patriots. 3 jerseys were on clearance because he was on neither team. I can't believe the Patriots even got that deal. I mean, maybe Belichick thought he could put him under wraps and control him or something. But obviously, I thought maybe he would actually he would stay with them and be like a normal person, because he's like, this is a team that can make it to the friggin' Super Bowl, you know what I mean? And just kind of behave for that factor. But that didn't happen.
Yeah, so I got a question for you. It's on the topic of football, but it's a different question. You played football. You have 2 beautiful sons. What's the deal? You going to let them play football and they get older if they want to?
Yeah, if they want to. I always joke with my wife, because I'm like, you know what? I'll just, from the youngest age that I can, teach them how to kick field goals and let them do that all day.
Right. You're not worried, though, like, say Chase and Colt are like, Dad, we want to play football. Like, you're not worried about them, like, getting hurt and shit? Because, dude, football, I don't care what anyone says. It's brutal. I feel like if I had a kid, I'd try to persuade him to play something that's not as brutal.
I mean, they could play what they want to play.
Right.
All depends on what their body type's going to be like and everything, too. Because who knows what they're going to end up as. Cause
Colt or Chase is built like he could possibly end up being taller than you guys.
I think both of them are.
Think so?
It all depends, because Chase, what sucked is he was on this steroid thing for his kidney for like 18 months. And from what I've looked up, it can stunt growth.
Okay.
But, I mean, obviously he's young, so it's not, maybe he'll still grow when he gets older, because he's not short for what he is for his age.
No, he's starting to
tall.
but he's starting to get taller.
Yeah, he is.
Pretty quick.
And my father-in-law is 6'4".
Really?
Yeah.
Alicia's dad's tall?
Yep.
That's fucking crazy.
Her mom was 5'1". She's like 4'7" now.
Well, yeah, everyone gets shorter as they get older, but that's funny. Alicia's dad's 6'4". Hey, you never know. My mom's only like 5'6", 5'5". My dad's only like 5'8". I'm almost 6'1".
As long as they're taller than me, that's all that matters. They can do more stuff.
Yeah, but it's not like you weren't. It's not like you weren't competitive and played. Like,
if they make it to 5'8", they can at least be a running back.
Hey, listen, as long as they go around and throw the weights like their dad did back in the day, dude. That chick cracks me up when Alicia's like, yeah, Chad. She's like, the girls thought you were strong back in high school, and she looks at you. Dude, it's so fucking funny. Dude, yeah, dude. Now looking back on it, because I'm not going to the high school reunion. It's been 10 years since we've been out of high school. How do you feel about looking back on it? How do you feel about growing up around here in our childhood and where things are now? Like, did you enjoy growing up here? Did you have fun in high school? Like,
yeah, I had fun.
When we lament on everything.
I had fun. I mean, I wasn't the kids going on vacation every friggin' summer doing stuff like that, but
not many kids were.
I still had a lot of fun around here. Skateboard, rode bikes, did bridge jumping from Hemmanville and stuff.
Yeah, did that too.
I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of stuff you can do around here because a lot of potential.
Yeah, it depends if you're into doing stuff outdoors. There's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I always loved being outside. It makes it a lot better. You can go outside, play paintball if you want, do crap like that.
DJ always used to tell me that he thinks upstate New York in the summertime when everything's like budding, he's like, I think it's beautiful up here. I'm like, I'm not a big fan now as an adult. I don't know. High school was all right. I mean, okay, so going into high school, it ended up being way, way better than what I thought it was going to be. I hated junior high school. Hated junior high school. I got in so much trouble, always getting into it with people. Didn't like the teachers at junior high, and like, you know, you're starting to like go through puberty, coming into your own and all this stuff, and like you're just confused about everything. You're just like, fuck. I hated junior high. High school was awesome. High school was awesome, but I'm not one of these people that like gets wicked nostalgic and like loves it and it's like, dude, I loved high school. I mean, it was cool. It was awesome, but it's like, honestly, I would never want to go back to it. You know what I'm saying? I like being an adult. Like, but I mean, I'm gonna be 30 next year. You're gonna be what, 27, 28?
Yeah, 28.
Shit, when's your birthday?
July 17th.
July 17th. You got a little time, so you just turned 27. And then you got fucking D's. D's got his little gaggle of babes. D's had his kids when he was 25. You had Chase when you were 25? 26.
Yeah, it would have been 25. Because I got married when I was 22.
Yeah, damn, dude. You wanna know what's funny is you guys have all these experiences that I don't have. Is like I have the exact opposite, like dating life and all these other experiences. Like I've always been on and off promiscuous and like in and out of relationships and stuff. Whereas like all my friends now are like married and have kids and all this shit and have girlfriends. I'm just over here with my fucking thumb up my ass.
Dude, it comes when it comes. I mean, I met my
not that I'm saying like I care to have all that stuff.
I met my
it's
wife
just interesting
on a dating app that we thought was just gonna be like a hookup, and it ended up 8 months later being married. So I mean, things just happen when they happen. You can't control anything.
Yeah, no, I don't really care. I kind of like, I don't know. I'm in this weird space. I'm in such a weird space. I found such a newfound respect of being alone, and I love it so much that it's kind of eerie. Like I don't really. I've been talking to a lot of women and stuff like that. They try to talk to me. I'm just like, I'm like, I'd rather just be by myself and just do my shit.
Well, it's nice to have time to yourself, and especially...
I'm selfish.
Especially when you get older, you know? You have more time to do the things you want to do, and you don't have to worry about... Because with what you're doing now, you're going through school, and you're going to be going to post-grad stuff eventually, and then starting a job. It's going to be... It'd be extremely stressful for bringing someone else along with you.
Dude, I know.
If they're not doing the same thing you're planning on doing, one person has to decide to either abandon what they're doing or you go separate, and then the distance can be crap. So
yeah,
it's a whole thing.
I don't know. I'm not too worried about it. Plus, dude, over at college, dude, everyone, all these girls, they look great, but they're all like 18, 19, 20. I'm just like, ugh. Like they look great and they'd be fun to hang out with from that aspect and stuff like that, but they're kids.
It's just tiring at that point. You're not into
tiring in more ways than one.
You're not into going out to the bars all night and doing all that crap. You know, you'd rather. It gets to the point where you'd rather just hang out with a small group of friends at a house than go out and go to a club and spend all your money.
Speaking of going out, you trying to go out for the Conor McGregor fight? McGregor versus Cerrone. I'm gonna have to do a breakdown for that before we go. It's the 18th.
All depends what's going on. I have to figure out what's going on that night.
Saturday the 18th.
Should be open, and
go to Buffalo Wild Wings. Be like doo.
Yeah.
Knock a couple back. I might make someone drive for me, like my sister or something, like drink.
Because Conor, that's gonna be an interesting fight. I mean, isn't that just like his, just getting back into it thing where he's, it's a winnable fight where he's not that worried about it.
Speaking of that, I just seen his first interview since he's been back with Mac Live or whatever. Dude, he seems motivated. He said some shit he normally doesn't say. Like, he's like, people be talking about politics. He's like, he goes, I'm ignoring all that. He's like, I'm just in the gym. He's like, the motivation is there and all this stuff. And he's like, I'm back to the way I was before. He's like, it's a new season. He goes, Donald Cerrone is first. He's like, I have a lot of options and all this stuff. And like, he honestly to me sounded like a dude that's motivated. Now, stylistically, honestly, I think he's gonna fucking cut Cerrone in half. If anyone can win a fight, it's hard. You know what I'm trying to get away from in my MMA episodes? I'm trying to get away from doing predictions because no sport is more fickle than MMA. One punch or kick. One position, if you're skilled enough at any time, you could take somebody out. So But if you look at it stylistically, this matchup doesn't bode well for Donald Cerrone. He fights bad against southpaws. He doesn't fight good against dudes that come forward. If you stand in front of him and make it a kickboxing match straight up, you fight just straight Muay Thai style, he'll tear you up all day. But what Conor brings to the table, it's a 5-round fight, but I think Conor gets him against the fence and fucking plants that left hand on his fucking clacks his dome. And Donald can't take punches as good as he used to. I think Conor walks him down and just blasts him. First or second round TKO.
I haven't watched much on McGregor after, but
he's really good.
I think
People forget how good he is.
If he puts his mind to what he's doing, I think he got his head too far up his ass.
Yep.
When he was getting all that money, and he wasn't even caring about MMA after he got that friggin' boxing match going on, because he was going to make millions anyways if win or loss.
Made $70 million off that.
Win or loss, you're going to make tons of money.
Right. Dude, I'd be trying to run it back with Floyd.
I'm telling you, it's just stupid. I'm surprised they didn't.
Here's the thing. The only reason why that fight was able to happen was because of the stylistic matchup. Floyd is who he is. He's one of the biggest draws in sports. And his style makes it so that Conor can have a decent fight with him because Floyd's a point fighter. He's a pure boxer. He's not aiming to just smash you and knock you out. He's aiming to make you look silly. So when you go in there against a guy who's that high level of a boxer, Floyd knew how to play the game. He knew how to let McGregor linger, get him tired. And then when he finished him, they had to stop it because Conor was just taking too many punches. But he was never in danger of being like crazy fucking hurt. That's why that match worked, because stylistically it's a safer fight to take for Conor because Floyd's not going to come out there and hit you and just start you, right, and hurt you. You couldn't do that against like Canelo Alvarez or Manny Pacquiao or Miguel Cotto because they'd knock Conor fucking dead. You know what I'm saying? Because they're there to fucking murk you, you know?
Those are the people that swing hands.
Yeah, like guys that are knockout punchers. Like you can't put them in there with a high-level knockout puncher in a boxing match. But what's funny is if you do it in the inverse, all those dudes would get murdered by Conor in the cage if it was a fight. That was my favorite part of the whole press conference. He's like, if this was a fight, you'd be fucking dead. He's telling Floyd. He goes, if this was a real fight, he's like, you'd be dead in 30 seconds and all this stuff to him. And it's true. Like he could easily just, if he was allowed to, just kick Floyd in the dome, take him down, and choke him out if he wanted to. Like there'd be nothing Floyd could do really. But yeah, Is there any things that you would like to say about the football? You make your case here with your Bills. Like, what do you like? Full, honestly, objectively, to close this, what do you think the ceiling is for your Bills in this playoffs?
I think with the defense that they have, if the offense can come around and start playing a little bit better than mediocre, where they're putting up at least 24 points a game, and the defense stays and keeps doing what they're doing and just cleans up their tackling a little bit, and just with like the run game, just kind of like their P's and Q's, just watching like they're making sure they're doing everything they're supposed to do, not doing too much and just doing what your role is supposed to do. I think they could make it to the Super Bowl, but it all depends on the offense actually playing better. Right now, it's not the level. They don't have the level of offense that they need to make the Super Bowl.
I think going forward that your Bills you need to shore up your offensive line more. And I think the offensive line has played decent this year. I think people thought that was going to be a crazy question mark. Your offensive line's held enough for you to win 10 games, So, I think in the offseason, you need to get some offensive linemen. You know what you really need to do? You need to draft a marquee wide receiver.
Well, that's where
you need to get yourself a number one guy. Like, dude, you know what'd be crazy? You know what would be perfect for your team? I really believe Amari Cooper is going to be on the market. I think he's going to test free agency. That'd be a great pickup for you to pick up. Amari Cooper.
Do you know that, the Bills actually had a 1,000-yard wide receiver this year?
John Brown?
John Brown hit 1,000 yards.
Yeah, a buddy of mine's like, dude, John Brown's wicked good. And he's all right, but, you need a legit guy.
Could you imagine if you had a taller, kind of almost like Duke Williams, what they got, if he got better in the game where he can do more stuff than just play wide receivers to make it more having actual wide receiver 2 out there?
Like, yeah, you need a
or
guy,
something like a Duke Williams like size.
you need a
but
guy
little
like
bit more,
AJ Green,
yeah.
Amari Cooper style guy.
On the opposite side of Brown.
Right.
Brown would if
like a Mike. You guys should trade for Mike Williams, or not Mike Williams. Who's the dude who plays for the Bucks? The fucking 6'5" wide receiver is dirty. It's Mike something. Mike Williams. Mike.
I can't think of his name. But I do think wide receiver is definitely something they need, and I'm hoping they keep Shaq Lawson this year because this year is his contract year. But so is Jordan.
It's Mike Evans. Duh.
So is Jordan Phillips.
Mike Evans from the Bucks. If I was the Bills, I'd give a first round pick for him, dude. That'd be dirty.
Well, yeah, it's their if they had a good wide receiver like that, and then could you imagine John Brown going up against like the second best cornerback, or like, you know what I mean, or going to the inside and doing some slot stuff just for some things.
You can run him on underneath routes, create that separation, or you can just keep him over the top, dude. If you could get yourself a number one wide receiver, you'd want a guy that's versatile, a dude that can run the whole route tree. That's why, honestly, like I said, Amari Cooper would be perfect for your team. He can run the whole entire route tree, sure hands, catches on the boundary, goes through the middle. Then you got Cole Beasley running all the slot stuff, John Brown going over the top. That would really soup your team. If you could just keep building that offensive line, your team right now, honestly, the next 2 years are going to be the years for the Bills. If you do the shit right. I don't believe they go Super Bowl this year, but the next 2 years are crucial. You need to hit the free agency wire. How much cap space you got?
90.
Dude, you need to hit the free agency wire, and you need to pay for offensive linemen, if there is any. And then you got to build through the draft. Maybe get yourself a wide receiver. But, dude, if you have that much cap space, let's be real here. Say Josh Allen ends up topping out his potential. He's probably going to be a really good quarterback, in my opinion. But he's not going to be worth the money as like Pat Mahomes. So you're going to have flexibility there. You don't got to sign Josh Allen to some crazy contract. And you build up the rest of your team. Your team is now that we've talked about it, your team's in a really, really good position right now to capitalize on the fact Tom Brady's getting old. That dynasty's coming to an end, and unless Belichick can get some kid in there through the draft or whatever, unless someone's got next, you're in a prime position to take that shit over. Now, I'll be honest with you. I'm kind of annoyed that I made that bet because it pains my heart. Like, I want to see the Bills fucking smash. But I don't feel like coughing up $100. You know what I'm saying?
No, I know. And
it sucks. I would love to see the Bills run, but you got an opportunity these next couple of years to take that division over and fucking get after it. These next 2 years for the Bills are going to be crucial based off the moves you make. $98 million of cap space. It's fucking nuts.
I think it's like 90 or whatever.
Still.
But they got a couple things.
$50 million in cap space.
They got a couple people they need to sign, and like Jordan Phillips and things like that, and if they're going to sign Shaq Lawson and...
Shaq Lawson. That's Jake's guy. Shaq Lawson.
He's good. It's weird because now his contract year he's doing great. So it all depends on if everything just clicked, or just... But I do think if, like I said, if the offense can find a way to get moving a little bit better, they could definitely make a run for it. Because their defense is good enough. You know what I mean? Like, they have a good enough defense. They have a good enough rush attack. They just don't have a good passing attack. If their passing attack even just upgraded a little bit or whatever they need to do to become better than mediocre or up to mediocre. You know what I mean? Like, that's what's killing them. In the games they lost, like they held Baltimore to 17. They held Patriots to 17. You know what I mean? Like, that's massive. And if they just would have been able to score 20 points that game, they would have won the game. It's just, there's a lot of stuff, like, the year could have been a lot different. But.
Yeah, dude, I just can't wait to see what the Bengals do in the playoffs,
See, Who do you think the Bengals are going to get in the draft
We're
pick?
taking Joe Burrow. Like, based off everything he's done in college this year, you have to take him with the number one overall pick. Andy Dalton, I love Andy Dalton with a passion. But Andy Dalton, he's had a bad luck of the draw. The 2 years he was in serious talks for MVP, and we went to the playoffs, he broke his fucking hand both times. and we lost in the playoffs. He's never won a playoff game. Marvin Lewis was the coach there. Marvin Lewis was the coach there since I was fucking 13. We finally got a new coach. It seems like that even though we sucked, the team played hard underneath this guy, and I like him. We just got to get a good, defensive court. The problem with my team is this. The Bengals are one of the worst run franchises in the history of the NFL. There was a little blip back when I was a wee little lad before I even cared about football, where the Bengals had a solid team with fucking Mark Munoz and Boomer Esiason, and they ended up going to Super Bowl and lost. But we had a little blip there where Marvin Lewis and the guys and everyone band together. Chad Johnson. Here's the thing: you had a top 10 defense for 6 years. You had Chad Johnson, T.J. Houshmandzadeh across from each other. You had a strong running game, good offensive line with Whitworth and all these guys. Carson Palmer's just not that good. And everyone's like, ugh. Dude, some people try to say Carson Palmer's a borderline Hall of Fame quarterback because of his numbers. Dude, you're high. He never won shit. He didn't win anything. You know what I'm saying? And, his numbers are good, but, I'm just not feeling it. You can't be a Hall of Fame player if you retired like a straight-up bitch to get out of your contract and then reinstated yourself the next year and played for another team. You can't be a Hall of Famer if you do some punk ass shit like that. You should just be expelled from contention of being a Hall of Famer. But no, so as far as the state of my Bengals, we're going to take Joe Burrow. If we wanted to, there's teams out there we could definitely make a move, and even though he's not healthy all the time, there's definitely teams out there that we could probably trade AJ Green for a first round pick. Yeah. I don't know if we'll do that, but we have really good young pieces on defense. We got Carl Lawson. We have Sam Hubbard. We got some good interior D linemen. We got Jermaine Pratt, our middle linebacker, played really well this year. He's a second round pick for us. We got a couple secondary pieces. We actually have some good corners. We got Jesse Bates, who's underrated. We have pieces. We need to get the quarterback. We got Joe Mixon. We got tons of pieces. We got Joe Mixon. We got Tyler Boyd. We got AJ Green. We have talent there. It's just the coach needs to get his team constructed. We need offensive linemen. We need a new quarterback. And I love Andy Dalton. I've probably talked about on the podcast. The year he got drafted, and this is funny because one of the parts of the story comes against the Bills. So the year he got drafted, we took AJ Green with our first pick. And then the second round picked it I did. Mike Maddox. I think the Bengals are going to go with a quarterback and all this stuff. So we could have taken Dalton, Colin Kaepernick, or somebody else. I forget who the third guy was. And I was, at that time, I'm serious into scouting the players. So I had all these dudes. I had a notebook and shit. And I was like, did you know that Andy Dalton is one of the all-time winningest college quarterbacks? Beat a lot of good teams too when he was at TCU. Played in bowl games, beat high-level squads. And I was I liked him as a player. And Adam and I were watching the draft at his house in his mom's living room. And I go, Adam's who are they going to pick? And I go, we're taking a quarterback. And I looked at Adam and I go, I don't care about height, weight, and speed, measurables. I go, I don't care about all this shit. I go, I want a winner. I go, I want Andy fucking Dalton, baby, and all this shit. That's what I want. And they drafted him after I said it. And I was and I'm running around Adam's house. I'm going, Super Bowl and all this shit, right? So fast forward to, we played the Bills his rookie year, and we ended up barely beating them. And it came down to this play. Adam and I, again, are in the living room. We're watching it. Comes down to this play. Remember Dante Whitner? Dante Hittner? Comes down to this final play. We needed a first down to kick the field goal to win. And Andy Dalton makes the dude miss in the pocket, and he starts running. He's pointing. He decides to tuck it and run for it. It's on fourth down. And he runs and lowers his shoulder and just barely manages to get through Dante Whitner, and he stretches out, and he gets it. They have to come out and measure it, and they call the first down. And both of our teams weren't that good at the time, but they get the first down. We kick the field goal, and I'm going, Super Bowl! Run around the house screaming again. It was funny, but I love Andy Dalton. And you know what? I hope Andy Dalton goes on after this, and he's just a great guy. He does so much with charity and shit. He's just a good dude. Never been in trouble. Always nice things to say about people. And he could play. I hope he goes to a team that has talent. I'd like to see Dalton play for the Chargers. I think it'd be a good spot for Andy Dalton to go play for the Chargers. Yeah. They have tons of talent on that team. I'd like to see him go to a team, and I'd like to see him be successful because I feel like most of the reason why we weren't good recently with Andy Dalton and AJ Green was because the coaching just wasn't up to snuff. I mean, I like Marvin Lewis as a person and stuff, but he just didn't know how to lead. He just was soft as fucking baby shit, dude. He just wasn't that great of a coach.
I think this offseason is going to be interesting. I think the one team that's going to change the most is the Dolphins. Have you seen how many picks they got?
Yeah, and you know what? We talk about this all the time. Fucking Nate and I talk about it all the time. If we were professional players in any sport, I would just go play for the Miami team in my sport because there's no income tax down there. Warm weather, beautiful women. If I was an NBA player, I'd play for the Heat. If I was an NFL player, I'd play for the Dolphins, dude. Fuck that, dude. I'd go down there and get paid a boatload and just hang out in the sun. But Miami, they played tough down the stretch here.
And
they really love the coach down there. These teams getting up and playing for that dude.
Can you imagine all the picks they got now?
I don't know. I heard they had a lot of picks.
They got I think it's 3 first-round picks.
They do. They have 3 first-round picks.
And then a couple second-round picks.
Yeah, dude. They're gonna be
That's ridiculous. The amount of picks they have because they sold their team out is amazing.
I think they'll take Tua Tagovailoa from Alabama and then just use the rest of the picks to try to build up that offensive line and get them some players.
They need some defense, too.
But yeah, so I think, like I said, I think this is crucial for your Bills. I think as long as Josh Allen keeps progressing, I think the sky is the limit for the Bills. I really do. I feel it. I don't I wasn't one of these people that's like Bills are going all the way this year. I really, 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 really do feel it that as long as you guys make the right moves in this next offseason, you guys think you're good now, you have a chance to be way better next year. Way better next year. You gotta get those contracts right, get everyone under contract, and who knows, if the Bills the next year or two, if the Bills host a playoff game, we're going. We have to go. We gotta scour the internet, make sure we get them tickets early or whatnot, so they don't fucking rape us with fucking cash. But we need to go if they host. I'll just go with you. I don't care who they play. I'll just wear a blue shirt so no one fucking stabs me. And we'll go and root for the Bills.
It'd definitely be. They're so close this year too.
Hey, you never know, dude. You might go on a run this time, and I'll be out $100, but
that's what I'm saying. If they can, they have the defense to do it. The offense just shows show us up, because the teams they did face, and I mean the past, they faced a lot of good defenses too. The last 6 games, they faced the Steelers, which had a good defense, the Patriots, Baltimore. I don't know. They had a good couple teams they faced in the last stretch where they had their losses, but I'm definitely I'm not as nervous about this game, only because I think they have the pieces to win. I mean obviously Deshaun Watson's going to be interesting, but I'm more interested to see if I haven't checked the injury list, but if Fuller is going to actually play, which I'm going to expect him to play because it's a playoff game and it's so close. But that's going to be a big piece, because if Fuller's not in, then Trey,
you got to be able to double team DeAndre Hopkins.
Trey, I think Trey White can focus on him and just kind of can at least limit him to not many yards.
It's interesting. This is the most compelled I've been in a while, and in the playoff games. This is going to be a fun one, but it's about what is it? It's about 10:00 now. We'll probably wrap this sucker up.
Yeah.
Is there anything you want to say before you?
Well, go Bills.
Go Bills. Go Bills. This is the Keepin to G Real podcast. You already know. I'm just happy to it's a long time coming, really. I'm happy to have Chad on. We've been talking about it over a while, but we're both just really busy, but it's good to have him on. I hope to have him on again. I'll definitely have you on if Bills go to the Super Bowl, but
oh, actually, one more thing.
What's that?
But after you said you're gonna, 1 second, I'm gonna grab it real fast. I freaking hate Instagram, but go on my thing. I was gonna plug my wife for her crochet
Oh
stuff.
yeah, I was thinking the same exact thing.
I to make
Well,
sure I got her.
keep looking for it. I'll roll through. We're gonna roll through our sponsors right now. We are sponsored by, soon to be sponsored by Griff's Fins, the premier fish and tackle shop. I'm hoping Griff actually really does tackle. That'd be something smart to get into. My boy Griff is starting up his own business. It's going to be called Griff's Fins. He's going to be breeding fish and doing aquarium stuff and things of that nature. Once he gets that fully off the ground, I'll be having more info for people to actually really look at it. We're also sponsored by Bronze Images, which is the best tanning on the East Coast here in good old Fulton, New York. You can find them on Facebook. Give Suzanne a call. She'll give you the hookup. And yeah, Chad, did you find it?
Yep.
Chad could just plug his wife's business she's got going now too.
She's been crocheting for about 6 years now. She makes a lot of stuff. Like she made a lot of like hats and hats, scarves. She makes these like beer koozies with our like girls' bikinis. She made me a hat for Christmas, which was a little like a legit hat with like letters sewn on saying Bills and a red beard. You can do it with any color and stuff like that. She makes dolls and stuff like that for kids. It's on Instagram. You can find her. It's Crochet with Alicia, and it's ELISHA at the end.
There you go. You heard it here, folks. Crochet with Alicia, and I'll keep plugging that. Then obviously, right now it's not like I make any money off my sponsors. Any of my friends that have little ventures, yeah, I don't want anything for it. Like if I ever got a paid sponsor someday, that'd be dope. But I do this to help all my friends out because they've all helped me and encouraged me to do the podcast and things of that nature. But yeah, I'll send me the info for that or whatnot, all the info for that, and I'll keep plugging it, and hopefully she can get a little more customers and pick up some steam. And my buddy George Fuller, again, we've had a conversation. He's going to be sponsoring me soon. He's a huge paintball guy, plays in like high level paintball tournaments and things of that nature. He's going to be opening up a website, starting his own podcast, so try to bring a little more light to paintball because like we've been having,
awesome.
Yeah, but like you would think with all the people that love guns, paintball would be fucking huge, and it's not.
I used to, when I was a kid, I used to love watching like the pro paintballers. Like it'd be late at night or something on
Greg
TV.
Hastings paintball.
Those friggin' angel guns and shit that would cost like $3,000 or so for a paintball gun. But man, what they do is pretty dirty. I don't know. I like wood ball better, but the arena stuff's still really good. Like to be able to move around and do all that stuff, it's impressive.
Yeah, my buddy plays on a serious team, and I've inspired him apparently to try to start a podcast and try to make paintball great. Like I feel there's no excuse for paintball to be like not a high level sport that people pay attention to. People love guns in America so much. It's like I can't believe paintball's not popular, but yeah, we'll save that for another day. This is the Keepin to G Real podcast. You already know. We're gonna hopefully be back next week. I'm hoping to have my buddy Michael Economu on soon. We're going to talk a lot of soccer. I know people don't watch soccer, but we're probably going to talk about soccer and some sports and stuff like that. There was someone else that I wanted to have on. I forgot. I'm hoping to have my buddy George Fuller on eventually. But yeah, we'll keep you guys updated. I'll post this and leave the link up on the Facebook page, and hopefully some more people, get some follows. I've been seeing a little bit of traction. People saying, I keep getting notifications that says, "Oh, someone viewed your podcast, listen to your podcast." But hopefully I get more subscribers. But yeah, I hope everyone has a good start to their 2020 year, and we'll holla at you.
Well, I don't have much to say at this point.
Say later.
Well, hopefully I'll be on here later on.
Yeah, if the Bills go far, we'll be back.
And then we can have a recap next week so the Bills can beat the Baltimore Ravens. And
word. Yes, sir. Peace, guys. That's all she wrote. You got Rob.
Let's see what she's doing.